What is up, everybody? It is NASCAR Fan 22, back again with another video. I feel like I haven't posted in forever, so sorry for keeping you on the wait. But today we're going to be talking about what I think is one of the greatest playoff races of all time, in the minor leagues at least. We have the High A South Atlantic League, where the Jersey Shore Blue Claws and the Brooklyn Cyclones are going at it for the last playoff spot. The winner of this race, with 17 games left, will be sent to the semifinals to play Hudson Valley. Now, the Blue Claws started the second half a little rocky, right? It started because they've lost Tommy McCullum. There's one of their star pitchers who was sent up to Double A, as well as Nick Ward and Casey Martin, which is it's not good for them. So on the bright side, though, they've had Jared Carr, who has gone from 137 batting average to about 230, something like that, within about a month and a half. And for their struggle is their pitching, because they've been in big leads and they blow it. They've been blowing it in the last couple innings, and so you can't win games if you're giving up a lot of runs. The Blue Claws, they don't have the best pitching ever, but they do have a great pitching coach who has a lot of experience, being Phil Kandari, who actually used to be a pitcher for the Oakland Athletics back in, I believe, around 1992, something like that. Greg Brodzinski is an incredible manager. Rickson Wingrove is still raking. So who do I think is going to win this race? I think it's going to come down to the last week of the season, which most people, if you look at the last part of the schedule, you would think, the Blue Claws, there's no way they can do this because they're playing Hudson Valley, who won the first half and clinched the playoff spot. They're playing them the last series of the season. So, I would assume that most people would think that the Renegades would take over, would take that series and the Cyclones would make the playoffs. But if you look at what's been happening, the Renegades have been falling off really, really, really hard. And I think that the Blue Claws can beat them. Not only can they beat them, but whoever makes the semifinals, whether it be Brooklyn, who has really stepped up their game since the first half, or Jersey Shore, I think whoever makes the semifinals is going to beat Hudson Valley, because Hudson Valley hasn't played the same since the first half of the season, and they haven't been scoring a lot. I mean, neither of the Blue Claws. The last couple games, they can't get the offense going. But Caleb Ricketts is still hitting the ball hard, still producing as the catcher. And I don't know, this is gonna be one for the ages, but we do have to bring in a special guest. We have to bring in another Blue Claws fan, just like me. Mr. Nogo Productions. How you doing, sir?
Hello there.
All right. So Nogo, what do you think about this this race for this last semifinal spot, with the season coming to a close? Now remember, they only played 142 games. So what are your thoughts on this situation here?
So we all know that these are two very capable teams, so it's definitely going to come down to the last bit of the season. But I think the Blue Claws have it in them to step it up. They showed it mostly a month combining all the games. They showed you how capable they really are. So I really think that the Blue Claws could win this, and it could come down to the last games.
And I think especially today with, today is kind of thrown up in the air because the Asheville Taurus will be playing the Brooklyn Cyclones at 7 p.m. And the Asheville Taurus almost beat the Blue Claws, and actually did beat the Blue Claws in one game in the past series, and the Blue Claws lost the lead in the division and then came back. But the Blue Claws are playing the Wilmington Blue Rocks, who over the last couple of years they have dominated, including this year. After that, they're going to Wilmington for this series. Then they come back to Jersey Shore to play the Aberdeen Ironbirds, and then they take a trip to upstate New York to finish the season against Hudson Valley. I think the Blue Claws, will they win all of these games? No way. There's no way. You can't win 16 games in a row, but they can win most of them. And so I believe that they're going to take this series. So, Nogo, if we look at our batters, I would like to highlight one player, not just because he's my favorite player, but because he's been going off recently. To start about the second week into the second half of the season, he was batting 137. Now he's batting 233. Nogo, what's your thoughts on Jared Carr's recent performance at the plate?
I mean, he's been really good. I really think that he could get called up to Double-A sometime soon.
I believe as well, yeah.
Because he's been the way you could turn around that.
Yeah, sorry, Nogo got cut off there, but yeah, the way that you could turn around that quickly and his fielding work also is incredible. He's been number 1 on SportsCenter Top 10 3 times in the last year. That's pretty impressive. I mean, once we can get Nogo back, obviously we'll keep going here. But another one I would like to highlight is Gabriel Rincones Jr. He has been slugging since the beginning of the year. And, obviously it's hard to stay consistent through the year. Even though it's the minor league, it's very tough to get into. And so, he's been balling out since the beginning of the year. And going back to Jared Carr, he's another big piece of the offense because he just stole his 20th base of the season. Any pass ball, he's gone. He's home already. And he can turn a single into a double easily. And that's also what makes him a great outfielder, is that he can get to most balls that other people can't. So now, if we go up and down the roster again, we see Otto Kemp. Yes, Otto Kemp, who was recently called up. He is absolutely insane. He has driven in, I believe, 8 RBIs or something like that already. And, as soon as he was called up, he's made an impact. That's hard to do. That's very hard to do, to make a big impact on your team. As soon as you get called up to High A, I want to see if we have Nogo back. Did we have Mr. Nogo Productions back? Or?
Yeah.
All right, so going back to what you were saying about Jared Carr, you kind of got cut off there. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so back to what I was saying before. I really think that he could get called up any moment because the way you could turn around a 137 average to a 33?
Yes, 233.
That fast is actually kind of crazy. Just think about it. You're in an almost MLB caliber team, and you're batting a 137, and then all of a sudden you turn it around to 233.
Yeah, and his fielding is very impressive as well. He's been SportsCenter Top 10, number 1, 3 times in the last year, which I know it's just SportsCenter, but still, if you're making catches like that, I mean, it's because of his incredible speed. He just stole his 20th base of the season. He's a threat in the bases. He's a real good player. But, Robbie, what do you think about Gabriel Rincones Jr.? I mean, he's been slugging the whole year.
Oh, yeah, the time we went to see him, he popped one out. He's a really good power hitter. Mm-hmm. He has a lot of capabilities in him, and we should be looking forward to that as in the long term if he doesn't get called up as Blue Claws fans, because he should be really good in the future. Indeed,
and also with Otto Kemp, who was just called up to the Blue Claws and balling out. But Rickson Wingrove, the star slugger for the Blue Claws, has, I believe yesterday, was called up to the Fightin' Phils, so he's in Double-A. That's gonna hurt the Blue Claws. I mean, don't you think that's gonna hurt? That has to hurt, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been most of the home runs, but also Kendall Simmons, who's criminally underrated. He's been hitting a lot of tanks as well. Now, if we focus more on the Brooklyn side, like I said before, it's their pitching. They just, you can't win games if you're blowing leads, obviously, right? And if your bullpen is not good, they're not going to be a successful club, even though they've been amazing. They've been amazing lately. But I don't know. I mean, they've had some real good players. I think Chase Estep is pretty underrated. He's a good player. But, I mean, Ryan Clifford, of course, is good. But if you look through this Brooklyn roster, there's not a whole lot of talent, No-Go. What would you like to make any comment on the Cyclones team? Or?
Yeah, so the biggest concern for them is probably their defense. They're a really good hitting team, offensive team, pretty much anything like that.
Yep.
They're good. They're a nice, speedy team. They have good all-around offense. Just the problem with their bullpen and their defense, that's going to be their problem for this season.
Making a lot of errors as well. I mean, if you get into if we look at the rest of the Cyclones schedule, which I actually don't have memorized because I'm not a Cyclones fan, but it's Asheville for an entire series, which is going to be a good series. Then to Boston, which I don't know if they can do that. I don't know if they'll win that. And then the tough part for the Blue Claws here is that the Cyclones play the Blue Rocks the last series of this season. So if they are even going into that series, Blue Claws are going to have it tough. As I step away for a second, I'll be right back. All right. Sorry for the interruption. I am back. And, so playing Wilmington the last series of the season, in this situation, it's very good for Brooklyn because that's an easy series pretty much for anyone to win. And the Blue Claws have to play Hudson Valley, who can either be great or can, fall off. Real quick before we end this stream, I would like to touch on the Little League World Series a little bit, but I'll let No-Go take that away. Why don't you talk about the Little League World Series a little bit for him?
All right, so I actually have a game on right now, Japan versus Panama. Japan leading
2-0.
And let's talk about that Curacao team, shall we?
Yeah. Let's talk about them because
top of
the two-run go-ahead home run, the top of the sixth. Yeah, but obviously, and Japan calls a mound meeting here against Panama. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go take it away.
So, as we know, New Jersey got eliminated.
Unfortunately,
2 straight games.
And New York as well.
New York as well.
Which sucks for us, but yeah, it's all right.
Hawaii has not made it, and they had been making it for 11 years straight.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make it this year, so
honestly
making an appearance for the first time in a while.
Yeah, I think Chinese Taipei is a very dangerous competitor.
Yeah, 2-0 so far.
And dominate 2 no-hitters actually.
Yeah.
I mean, those kids are throwing 87, high 70s, something like that. Those kids are actually insane on the Chinese.
It was 83.
Yeah, the Chinese Taipei team is balling out. I mean, it's crazy. As Panama loads the bases. We'll keep you posted with this before we end the stream. Oh no, a bad hop costs the Japan team.
This whole thing is errors so far.
Oh yeah, well, it
was a bunt back to the pitcher, then the first baseman couldn't catch it. Now the third baseman can't pick up the play.
And that's uncharacteristic for Japan. They're a very good hitting team. But I mean,
they're not hitting.
I'm sorry. My bad. They're a very good fielding team. I know that they're not hitting. That was a mistake by me. Wow, yeah, I mean.
Panama has the craziest parents. I think we can agree on that.
This ball is driven deep. Center field, it gets in the gap. Oh, and it gets through. It's going on the wall. Oh, this is going to score 3.
Japan is just making errors on errors. Wow.
Throw. He is safe at the plate, and it's 3-2. Oh, my goodness. And you guys saw it on the screen. As you can see in the right corner of my screen, you can see the game being played on my TV. Oh, my goodness. Well, I think that's a good way to wrap it up for today. Thank you for the couple of you that tuned in. I'm sure this will be watched after the stream is over. But subscribe to NoGo's channel. Link should be in the description. I do have him tagged. So subscribe to NoGo Productions. Subscribe to NASCAR Fan 22. Comment if you want. I actually don't really care. And have a nice day. Thank you for watching. See you later. All right. I mean, that was